Good morning. At 5 months in, 5 months after doing the Deep South, after all kinds of heat, humidity down there, it's not until 5 months in when I'm up in the Northeast where I fully expected that I would be out of the heat and out of the humidity, even though it's July. 5 months in is when I have the worst night's sleep in the van. It wasn't even sleep. I didn't even sleep. And I am only going to tell you everything that happened last night because please, for the love of God, learn from my design mistakes. Remember, when I built the Babe Bus, it was November, December, January, February. You're not thinking about that it's going to be hot. You know it will be, but it's not top of mind. And I remember when I first started driving and we had some in the 30s and in the 40s nights, and I was thinking that I was just going to be freezing here, and you can always bundle up. You can always go get your Tinkerbell bathrobe and your hat and you'll be fine. Cold is fine. When it gets hot outside, and even though I'm so far up north, it was in the 90s. I turned on the generator to get AC in, as much as I hate the generator. Nothing. The AC would just leave. Then I went to Lowe's. I got a bunch of $20 worth of stuff. If this works, I'm going to patent this and become a bazillionaire with Tony at Lowe's. I already told him. I didn't tell him what percentage of that he's getting, but I already told him. So we started with this, which is a faucet cover for outside. Prevents your faucet outside from freezing. And so this fits over the front vent. And then I got an adapter. And then I got this. This is enormous. To connect to that, yeah? And pipe cold air, hypothetically, into the back to just keep it from getting so hot. So I have no idea if this is going to work or be a total failure. The other thing he said you could do is you can foil the roof to just keep heat kind of reflecting off the top. Obviously you can't do that on the sides because you'll create an enormous mirror and reflect light into other cars and cause an accident, and that's not safe. And I attached it to the vent with this hose protector and tried to pipe the AC from the vents up front into the back, and then close down part of the door over here so that the cold air would settle on the bottom. And then as I was driving, I opened up the windows to get the hot air to go out. I mean, as much as I knew about installing ductwork as possible, I was trying to recreate in here just to get the heat out of the van. It's really light. And I couldn't do it because I didn't do what I should have done. To hell with stealth. Let's stupid. Put as many God blessed windows in your van as possible so that you can get airflow. I want a window here. I want a window here. Maybe a bay window here. And then, you need fans up top, and I just so wish that I had done it and I didn't. So please learn from me. So I went to bed at midnight and I stopped at a Cracker Barrel, which I usually don't prefer, but I stopped at a Cracker Barrel. I kept everything open until midnight, which is not very safe, but just to try to get the heat out. Finally, shut the van down. At 2:30 in the morning, I wake up and I feel like I cannot breathe because your body heat and your breath is going to warm the space anyway. And it just it was almost like feeling like you were going to have a panic attack. I mean, it was just so hot. And I had the fan back there this close to my face, but you're just moving hot air at that point. And it was unbearable. I could not stand it. And the reason that I guess in a Cracker Barrel, chances of someone jumping in the van at 2:30 in the morning in a Cracker Barrel and cutting me up into tiny pieces and putting me in a suitcase, probably low. But you still just feel so vulnerable having that open, even a little. Even with all my murder toys. So I didn't want to do it. So couldn't take it. What I did was I moved into the front, right? where I have some privacy up here. I took the cutting board, put the cutting board down, threw some pillows on top of it, just so I could get next to an effing window. And there was no breeze last night. And it was still so hot up here, and it felt like sleeping in a coffin. Not that I've done that before, but this is like rock hard. And I had my back on here and my head up here, and luckily I'm so short that I could stretch out. But yeah, this was my sleep setup last night to try to avoid the heat. Right there. So it was a little bit better. There was still no breeze. So at that point, it's like 3:30 in the morning. At 4 o'clock in the morning, and this is my gripe, and it's not, I'm being selfish. Cracker Barrel is a restaurant. But I parked next to the back where they have RV and bus parking. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, the food delivery trucks, the supply trucks showed up and were parked all around the van to drop off supplies. And so they were unloading and loading, and I just laid here like, kill me now. I just so wanted to go to bed, and I couldn't. And finally, at 6 o'clock in the morning, it was light enough, and I felt on my forehead up here some little drops of rain, and I almost burst out crying because I was so exhausted and so relieved that it was going to be a cloudy day today. So that was a really dramatic story, huh? But it's awful. And you know, when you design your van, the whole thing that you're trying, and I know we're all trying to get like the coolest van, and you know, people have like $120,000 van builds, and it's really easy to be envious of that. But everything you do, just try to design it so you won't be fearful or resentful or dread coming in here at night, because that is the most important part. And yeah, I'm like dreading going to sleep tonight because I was so uncomfortable and miserable last night, and now severely sleep deprived. So anyway, now that I'm finally up and rocking and rolling, as much as this looks like it's rocking and rolling, I don't care. I'm so tired that I don't care. Go ahead, write something nasty in the comment section. As I've gone north, there are fewer and fewer Anytime Fitnesses up here, which is my only shower spot. So I'm gonna, as much as I do not want to spend the money and I do not want to be involved in a year-long contract at all, for a year contract, $25 a month, something like that, there are way more Planet Fitnesses in this area. So I'm gonna double up my gym membership so I can have more shower access. And yesterday I was hemming and hawing, and we were talking about it on Patreon about if it was worth the expense or not. After the shit I went through last night, I'm going to take 2 showers today. You sacrifice a lot of comfort, and I just, right now, for $25 a month to have a shower is an expense I'm willing to bear. So please, for the love of God, when you are building your van, put the windows in, put the vents in, understand that cold air will sink and needs to come in one way, and hot air, there has to be a return and go out another way. And yeah, just it's so worth it to think about that as a high priority when you were doing your build. Trust me. Anyway, we do have a beautiful place we're going to today, so let's get this shit show on the road.